Alrighty, yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. DDG94, back with another reaction video. Today, we're going to react to what was Tupac really like in the studio. Without further ado, let's get right into it.
It was no spot for Tupac. It's not like there was somebody like me before and I moved into the spot so I can ask him how he did it. You know what I'm saying?
Tupac is one of the most revered figures within music history.
Fact.
His ability to speak truth through poetry and interviews, movies, and through his music has captured the hearts and minds of multiple generations long after he's passed away.
I'm not saying I'm gonna rule the world or I'm gonna change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job, is to spark somebody else watching us. We might not be the ones, but let's not be selfish, and because we're not going to change the world, let's not talk about how we should change it.
And even if he is somewhere chilling in Cuba, his legacy continues.
Come on, bro, chill out with that.
It's clear
That's
that
not
Pac
funny.
accomplished his goal of sparking the minds that have changed the world. From Kendrick to Cole, every major artist today has no trouble admitting the impact that Pac had on their art. We could make a whole documentary on Pac's mystical life, and there's many out there, but in this video, we're going to focus strictly on what Tupac was like in the studio, straight from the mouths of Snoop Dogg, E40, Dr. Dre, and more. There's actually a lot of footage of Tupac in the studio, especially for the time period he was recording in. Whereas sometimes people don't grasp that the moment they're in will one day be legendary, it seems like Pac always knew.
Hey, get this on tape. Do you not think of a goat when you see that nigga mouth? Man, that's not what comes to mind when you see that nigga. Get him on film. I bet you if you take a survey, 99% of your viewers is going to say, man, that goat mouth.
It's a little ironic that he was talking about goats here, but when it comes to that term, who's the first rapper that comes to your mind? Let us know in the comments down below. Here is why Snoop thinks Pac is the definition of the greatest rapper of all time.
What it's going to be as opposed to what it is. And now it's prophesied, you're starting to see it and you're starting to hear it. And it makes him seem like one of the greatest philosophers of the world because his pen told you this years ago.
Facts.
He wrote what's happening nowadays, he's seen it. So it puts him on a level of a spirit or a god.
But let's get into what made Pac so legendary in the studio.
If you are lost in the wilderness and you have a guide, then it's not like being lost. It's like learning new things as you go through. So when you finally get through, you forgot where you were going to. You just want to talk about the path that you just went. And that's how I feel.
Beyond anything else, Tupac is a poet.
Then I started turning the poetry into songs, and that got more attention. It is of my opinion that I was rapping while I was writing poetry.
Okay.
And so I was into rap, I guess you could say, from junior high when I wrote my first poem.
Over the course of his life, he had different mediums to express himself creatively, whether it be through theater, movies, speeches, or music, but the core theme with everything that he did was that Pac always had a message he wanted to deliver to the people. And there's no art form that he conveyed his message in better than the music.
Listen to the words that people say in their lyrics and tell me if that's some real if that's real to you. You know what I mean? Listen to what they saying. Don't just bob your head to the beat. Peep the game. And listen to what I'm saying and hold us accountable for it.
He always wanted to make sure he was saying something real. When we did our deep dive about Jay-Z, one thing that stood out was how particular Hov was about every aspect of the music, from the instrumental to the mixing. Pac wasn't like that at all. He was so hyper-focused on the message, the lyrics, and the rapping that he didn't feel like his time was well spent on any of the other aspects of a record. Here he is speaking about letting the engineers take care of the rest.
Shit, we only got 2 weeks to do this whole album. Complete it. Mix it down and everything. We don't have time or the luxury to spend all of this time doing one song. We don't have it. We gotta somehow find a way that we can double up on it. Cause I did my whole album, I know it ain't all of that, but I did my whole album like 3 songs a day. Cause I was just laying it, rocking it, then getting off. You can mix it later and have niggas that love being in the studio all night, just adding a drum beat at a time and shit. You can do that after the rappers leave and shit. Just niggas that love being in the studio, that just love listening for the right kick. But for while we in here and you got like 8 rappers here and everybody drinking and smoking and shit, man, get that beat popping, throw them niggas on the track. You catch everybody freestyling, throw them niggas on the track. Boom, that's just the name of the song is whatever this nigga said his last word was. We do it, put it there. Then after we finish, we walk out, everybody be here and listen to you. Like, this the hook, we go in there and lay the hook. If we don't like that hook, the nigga lay another hook, come back out here, you know, raise scratches or whatever. Happy to show.
And one thing that was so evident about Tupac after watching the footage back and listening to the stories is his sense of urgency, especially when it came to his later work. Pac was in there recording an unheard of amount of songs back to back to back to back, and was doing it with this overwhelming energy that this music needed to be out in the world and heard by people. Many people talk about how Pac knew that he was going to be leaving this earth before it happened, so maybe that contributed to him wanting to release as much music as possible. But either way, his work ethic in the studio was unmatched. Snoop said that Pac never even used to listen back to the songs he was creating because he was already on to the next one.
And I swear to God, that's how this nigga used to work. We'd be in the studio, he'd make a song, it'd be like 30 niggas in here. He'd make a song, he'd let him get on the song, him get on the song, him get on the song. As soon as the song go off, he won't even listen to it. Put that shit over there, pull the next beat up. He get on to the next beat, writing some more shit. Boom, they finish that song, then he say, I'm gonna do one by myself. 20 minutes later, he and that motherfucker spitting it. There's 3 songs this nigga done did in an hour. 3 songs, he ain't listened to nan one of them. Then he may go smoke and chill or whatever, drink, come back, pull another beat up. When he and this motherfucker making music.
He was working at warp speed. I mean, here's Dr. Dre saying how shocked he was that Pac's recording process was like that.
One, let me start with Tupac. He was one of the most talented people I've worked with because, you know, the little time I spent working with him, he went in the studio, and usually people sit in the control room and write the lyrics and what have you to the tracks that I present. He went in the mic booth, put the headphones on. I let the track run down one time, instrumental. When I rewinded it, he said he was ready. He had his verse done, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, it was incredible, man. And Pac was the type of guy that you go in the studio and he'll complete 5 songs in one day. That's the reason for him having all the joints that he has right now. I mean, he has like another 4 albums.
Warren G says as soon as Pac hears something he likes, he immediately goes in and starts writing.
He heard the beat, he was like, that's dope. He said, I want to write to that right there. He said, okay, let's put it on tape. He was in the console room, just bouncing around, just writing for about 30 minutes, and then he went in the booth, and that's when he started busting, and I'm like, damn, he wrote that fast, so he busting. And then, so he did the first verse, and then after that, he just said, my definition of a thug, nigga.
And E40 said he's never seen anything like watching the way that Pac wrote.
I never seen nobody write like that in my life, I promise you, brother.
Did he write it?
My whole life to this day, no, wasn't no premeditated gang, nothing already, just, you know, pre-written, none of that shit. It was all from the dome, bro.
Oh, so he freestyled this shit? Like,
no, not like that, dome. Like, he'll write it right down the scene.
Okay.
Like, he'll hear the beat, just get at it.
Okay.
And then he had the nerve to go from studio to studio. Like,
in the 11 months before his passing, Tupac wrote and recorded 2 full albums, including the double album All Eyes on Me, which is my favorite Pac album. Let me know yours in the comments. Plus, all of the unreleased music, which led to 6 posthumous LPs, more than a dozen music videos, and 3 feature films. That's more than some people accomplish in a lifetime, and that's not even a full year. Even when he was working on movies, his love for the studio and his commitment never wavered.
It was a lot of that, leaving the set, going to the studio.
Tupac loved being in the studio so much that some people say he still lives in there today.
I've been in the studio at night with Tupac after he died, remixing his, don't do that little eye, like, don't do that. No, Tupac has a way of, his voice kind of low-key, like, haunts the studio a little bit.
Get the fuck out of here.
I wish I was lying. Make your hair stand up, bro. It's shit be happening in the studio that make the engineers afraid. And they get up and walk away from the board. I seen it happen at Henson Recording in LA on La Brea.
Damn.
Yeah, he was working on Loyal to the Game. And he low-key haunted the studio.
But even though he worked so quickly, like we said, Pac was a poet at the end of the day. He was someone who loved the written word, so he never sacrificed his lyrical integrity for quantity. And it's also why you'll almost always see him in the booth with an actual notepad.
Yeah, I ain't got no dope.
Check it out. Is it money, you women, the funny beginnings, tragic endings? I can make a million and still not get enough for spending. This is my life is based on sinning. I'm hell bound. Rather be buried than be worried, living hell down.
something that you don't see many rappers with today. Of course, technology changed, but Pac, I have a feeling, would have written things down no matter what time period he was rapping in. He never sacrificed the quality of his message, but one important note from Pac was that he also wouldn't be stuck on just one idea or let perfectionism slow him down from creating at such a speed. Whenever he had parts of a song that didn't work or was missing lyrics to certain songs, he would just go back the next day and fill in the blanks rather than stressing about those missing pieces in the moment. It's a good lesson. When it comes to his ideal studio environment, Pac loved having other artists around in the room to bring new energy and inspiration.
Yo, Pac, what?
Goody Mob here.
Oh, word, let him in. Where they at?
We right here.
Yeah, let them in. Get them seats and shit.
Yeah.
Get them drinks and whatever they want.
Okay.
Let them get up. Tell Lance to get some seats for them up there in the room. Okay. Right up there where y'all sitting at.
What's up, man? What's up, Paul? What's poppin', y'all? What's going on? What's happening? What's going on, man? All right, back. Everybody.
Hey, what's up, homie? What's poppin'? Shit. Y'all come in, y'all want some drinks, whatever, we got it for you.
I hear you, bro.
They're getting some chairs and shit for you.
And when he did have those artists there, he made sure to get the most out of them, getting straight to the point of making music. He was maybe the most efficient artist ever. He also didn't care about working with big name producers or specific people when it came to the music. If you had a song that he was feeling, you could make the album.
He didn't play a hate. If you had tracks and he thought they was banging, he didn't care who you was, he would do something. If he felt it, he would work.
But even though he took his craft extremely seriously, Pac was always having fun in the studio. His sessions were built off of the energy that surrounded him and that he emitted to others, and that energy transfer often came in the form of jokes. And anybody could get it. If you were walking around in a studio session, you could get some jokes from Pac.
Hey, what's up, man? I feel you, homie. Hey, I hope you Chinese if you got some Chinese tattoos on you. Chinese? You don't know what the fuck they run on you, huh? That shit can say 2 egg rolls on you right now. That shit, you got, hey, get that. Ask somebody Chinese, if you're watching this tape, don't just say 2 egg rolls to go with hot sauce. You know what they say? Niggas ain't Chinese, get Chinese letters like they been somewhere and shit. You ain't never left the block, nigga. You was a China guy. Fuck be clowning everybody, man.
He would always make sure to have drinks, cards, something to smoke, and he made sure that everyone around him was comfortable in the studio. But as soon as he's done laughing, it's right back to work. Here's some absolutely classic footage of Pac and Snoop laughing together in the studio.
He said put a condom on your tongue, lick it till I come, baby, and I do the same for you. Yes, I will. Shit,
You got that nigga dog.
That nigga cold
singing this shit.
That nigga tight. I gotta go get a CD Pac when I get him. I'ma slide him to you. He had you banging, nigga. That nigga tight.
Even though he loved having others around, Tupac was the main source of energy in every studio session. He always charged up the room, and he did that consciously.
What's it mean for you to be here with Death Row?
It means that I have to give my 110% so that all the rappers under me can give their 110%, so that everybody else, all the peer rappers like the Dogg Pound and Snoop, to give their 110%, should give his 110%, Papa G give his 110%, and that's what makes Death Row Death Row. That's what makes us have record-breaking album sales and things like that. Is we give 110%. Ready?
Yeah.
Y'all ready?
No. You're just taking 2 tracks again, right? Come on, why you hiding, baby? Come on, man.
Used to have love for him, but now they turning on me. Why me? Oh, no.
And his inspiration didn't only extend to other artists. There are videos of Pac playing his music for kids in the studio as they listen to his messages, even if it's subconsciously. Being able to hear those words in that setting from one of the greatest poets of all time, that must have sparked their mind.
Competition is my prophecy, I hope it's heard. Y'all call us murderers and shit. Laying all the problems on the world, I scale it down. Love niggas on the streets, ain't that a bitch? How y'all ain't give a fuck about us when we was broke and poor? Little money motherfuckers wanna stop us and block us. What part of the game is that? Who should we love? Who should we believe in when the motherfuckers that's supposed to be our role models, supposed to be the people we look up to, is trying to snatch us out the game? What type of shit is that? Fuck 'em.
And speaking of sparking minds, Tupac's influence hasn't slowed down at all. Here's Kendrick talking about Pac.
True story, actually. You know one of them things when you're real delirious in your sleep. A real situation where I was asleep one night, man, and his blur like a silhouette, and he basically said, "Keep doing what you doing. Don't let my music die." Shit scared the shit out of me. Straight up. So shit, just off the fact that prior to that, the day before, my mom was bringing up, you know, you and Tupac, y'all like days apart, y'all birthdays, and I never knew that shit. It was some wild shit. Once he said that shit, and I'm really big on shit like that, spiritual shit like that. Somebody comes in your dream and it relays a message.
You gotta listen.
You gotta listen to it, because I got past family relatives that's been passed and been coming to my dreams forever. I mean, and talking to me. I just really wanted to share that message, man, and I felt like it was something I just couldn't keep to myself. I wanted to put it out to the world and let them know this shit is real for me. I mean, I'm not only doing it for myself anymore, I'm doing it for people around me, my city, of course, and for a bigger power, and that's to continue the message that he tried to carry.
And if you listen to Pimp a Butterfly at all, you know how much his influence actually lives within Kendrick's music. Tupac is a once-in-a-lifetime soul. He inspired so many people that his impact on the world is hard to even measure. But seeing all of the footage and hearing all of these people talk about his work ethic, none of it simply was handed to him. The talent was God-given, but the work was created by Pac on a daily basis, and he did not let his opportunity on this earth, even if it was brief, go to waste for even a second. Pac will always go down in history as one of the greats, but when it comes to his studio sessions, I think he did things we will never see again. For Hip Hop DX, I'm Jeremy Heck. Thank you guys for watching. This has been another episode of our DX Deep Dive Studio series. Let us know who you want to cover next in the comments as always, and let us know which Pac studio session you would have loved to have been in the room for to witness live. I'll leave you with this clip. I love you. Thank you guys for 1.1 million subscribers, and I hope you have a great day.
We sitting up here to live big screen. It's heaven for the moment. You know what I mean? Hell is jail. I seen that one. Trust me, this is what's real. And all that other shit is to control you.
Alrighty. That's just gonna about do it for this one, man. We took a little bit more of a deep dive, even though a lot of us Pac fans already know this shit. But, you know, Pac was a one of a kind, man. Took it from us too soon, man. And it's true what Snoop said. All his raps, if you go back and listen to them today, they all remain true. He predicted the future because he saw the path that the world was going in. He saw the world from a perspective that I can't even figure out. Just know that he was on a different level from all of us. But anyway, so that's just gonna about do it for this one. I'll see y'all in the next video. Till then, peace out.